Hello! Okay, I'm gonna be talking about the time where I got stuck in a zoo freezer. Yeah, that happened. This happened at the Indianapolis Zoo, and I just want to say beforehand that anybody did anything wrong, so I just want to get that out of the way. On to the story! So, June 26, 2016 was the first day of zoo camp for me, and I had been there many times before. But this one I will always remember because I got stuck in a freezer. So that day I got up 7 o'clock in the morning, and if you were lucky, you would go to the zoo and it wouldn't take long to get there. I wasn't really that lucky. So I live 45 minutes out from the zoo. Give or take, depending on the traffic, usually for me and the time that I would go. If you've ever been downtown in the morning, you know, rush hour and everything. Kind of sucks. It felt like forever because I was so excited to go see all these animals in zoo camp. And when I got there, you sign in and you just wait and you color in a shirt. The shirt you have to keep on, and it was short sleeve. Now this is important for later in the story. Skipping past a little bit, so we would go something every day and it was called BTS. No, not K-pop. It's called BTS because that stands for behind the scenes. And that's basically when you got to go into all these cool rooms that visitors are strictly prohibited to go in. So I'm talking inside of animal enclosures, like the giraffes and the elephants, the freezer, the venom extraction room, the freezer, the animal hospital, and the freezer! So on that day, we were visiting the ocean life section. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the part of the zoo where if you first come in the entrance, you'll see the seals and the sea lions, and it's that building, and then once you go through that building, which has like the sharks, the petting, there's like a little area where you can pet sharks and everything, and then you go down, and there'll be like the polar bear, although the polar bear is gone. Then you go to the left, and you'll see a blue, kind of more cement block. You go inside that, you can see the walruses. Our behind the scenes was with Pucka and Aurora. So they're these guys, which are the baby walrus and the mama walrus. The mama is Aurora, and the baby is Pucka. But before we went to our BTS, we go to this thing because one of the people who had been there previously had asked, and that made me a little mad because it was the zoo freezer. And I had never been in this freezer. I don't know what to expect because, I mean, I've been in other freezers before around the zoo, like the snakes and the cats. Now, I'm quite used to seeing, like, dead rats and bunnies and what they look like because my passion for snakes and those animals. But I wasn't so familiar with seeing, like, gazelle parts and stuff like that in a freezer. But looking back on it now, I probably should have expected it knowing that it was from a zoo freezer and not one of those coolers that you have at home. And here's where things start to get a little cray-cray. So zoo safety protocols are that no one is to enter the freezer alone, and you have to stay with a buddy. For obvious reasons, the freezer is hella cold, and the outside air temperature is hella hot, especially because it's in the summer, it's June. If you get stuck inside, you'd probably die. So we had groups and trail buddies. Anyways, half of the group stayed outside while our group went into the freezer. As I expected, it was cold. I went to open the door because I wanted out. If you don't know, that freezer is like negative 10 degrees. It sucks, especially because, as I was said earlier, you're wearing these short sleeve shirt, and usually you were majority of the time outside. So it was really hot and not where the air conditioning is. So I went to open the door and it wouldn't open. I tell my counselor and she says, stay calm, you're gonna be okay. And she tries to open it. It doesn't open. We start freaking out, and my group has like 5 kids plus like 1 counselor plus me. And we all literally started freaking out. Half of our group are like outside. They probably don't know what's going on. They're probably thinking, oh, they're gonna stay inside the freezer, just maybe talking about like the education part and what the animals need. No, we weren't. We were all freaking out and we thought that we were going to die. I literally looked at one of my friends who I had met previously in the camp before that happened to be there, and she was crying. It was so scary. It's just being surrounded by these animal parts and just, ugh, no. So it went on for what we thought was years, but it only was 5 minutes. It just turned out to be 5 minutes. Now, the group outside the freezer was pulling a prank on us. There was a keypad entry, and basically what they do is they deactivated that, and they held like one of the things, or like the handle on it closed. And after it happened and my initial anger went away, I really turned into more of a laughable moment for me. I didn't really think much of it. However, after I started thinking about it, I think my group may have taken things too far. Because one, we were kids and we didn't know it was a prank at the time. Two, again, as I stated before, we were wearing short-sleeved shirts and it was cold. We were in there for 5 minutes. And three, really, we were surrounded by these exotic animals, parts, and just, no. Take what you hear from the story, but my takeaway is that pranks can be funny as long as you don't take them too far.